Good afternoon and welcome to Find Your Sparkle with Jen, where we will inspire, impact, and influence you. I'm your host, Jennifer Stewart, owner of Jazz Potential and creator of Find Your Sparkle. And today I'm extremely excited and honored to have with us my new friend, Reverend Lanette Renee Frazier, who is a person who absolutely loves to intentionally lead and light the way to the top. So welcome, Lanette. It's so exciting to have you here. Now, before we get going, I really think that it's kind of a funny story that we need to share with the audience of how we came to be here today.
Yes.
So Clubhouse, for those of you who may or may not be familiar, is a social platform that has a variety of rooms. And I think we were first introduced kind of through the gratitude room, which is a daily group where people come together and basically talk about things that they're grateful for.
Yes.
And I think it was about a week ago now that I was actually on Facebook and I read this post that was really inspiring for me. And it was just happened to be the right thing that I needed to hear at the right time. And all of a sudden I heard your voice and I had no idea what was going on. And sometimes on Facebook, there's a video that might be coming up next that starts. So I'm looking for this video. There's no video, but I hear you. And what you're saying was exactly what I needed to hear. And then you said something about inviting someone to the stage. And I thought, oh, okay, it's Clubhouse. So I entered the room, well, knowingly, because I was already part of it, unknowingly. And we ended up having this great discussion in your room.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about what were your thoughts when I shared that with you ending up there?
Well, I just loved it. I loved it because that's just how God works. And I was so nervous about opening a room on Clubhouse. First of all, I didn't know nothing about Clubhouse until one of my God sisters told me. And then when I joined the gratitude room. And then God said, well, you need to open a room and you need to do this. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know nothing about opening a room. So I reached out to Garth and he was like, okay, well, I'll talk to Tony and see if you can open it. And they both just blessed me and allowed me to open the room. So I was so grateful. And then I was nervous. I was like, who gonna come? Nobody know me on here. But it was so awesome from the first time I was on there to now when you came on there. So when you came on there, God said, okay, I'll need you to talk about how to function in faith. You need to talk about it. And I was like, okay. And I said, now, I don't know who's going to show up for that one, because sometimes people are, particular about what they want to join on Clubhouse. And sometimes it's a getaway from the world and everything else. So I was like, okay, but I being obedient, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And let me tell you, it was the best thing when you popped in there and you said, you had no idea that you was going to be on there, but you just heard my voice and you just came on. I was like, okay, God. God spoke things into existence, and I guess he allowed me to speak you into existence. And you came right on into the room and shared your story. And I was just so, we know God is awesome, but it just amazed me even more just how awesome he is, that he brings people into your circle of influence at the right time, at the right moment. And so when you came in there, I was so nervous about teaching that room, and everybody liked it. And what was so awesome is you wasn't expecting to be in there. You just appeared in there. You were on Facebook in there. And then another young lady said that she was just getting into her spirituality and trying to learn more about God. So this was good. And then had someone else in there that didn't even believe in God, and that's what I loved about it, is because we can still come together, and regardless of what our beliefs are, we can come together and still help each other, encourage each other. And that's what the Healing Love Room is all about. It's not about tearing anybody down. It's not about just speaking about Christianity. Is about us all coming together as one, helping and supporting each other and growing together. And it's amazing, because when you have people coming in and sharing their testimony, sharing what they have, it just helps you be more aware of what you need to be grateful for, what you need to be thinking about, and might even give you an aha moment, you know?
Oh my gosh, that is so true, because you never know where they're going to come from, but you need to be open and open to receive. And when you are, miracles can happen. You know, we show up in each other's lives, right? And we can help each other, and you never, ever know. So I want to ask you, I know that you're devout Christian, you're a reverend, you have a long history of helping people. Right now, you're actually studying your doctorate, which is very, very exciting. Now, you're originally from New Jersey, living in Arkansas now. So just to give our audience a little bit about you and some of your background, can you give us a little bit of, how did you end up coming to where you are now?
Oh my God, that'll be a whole lot. I'm gonna do it in a Zoom speed. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I ended up leaving, going from Jersey to South Carolina, from South Carolina to Georgia, moved to Virginia and divorced my first husband, moved back to Georgia, and then moved here to marry my second husband. And then we're divorced, but God told me to stay put. And this is the longest place that I've ever been since leaving Jersey. I have been here 16 plus years now. And this is the longest place. Most places I've stayed was 2 years or less. So,
wow.
And everybody thought I would leave, and I thought I would leave too once I got divorced, but God said no. So I stayed obedient to what he told me to do. And now I understand why, because he has allowed me to not only be blessed by people, but to bless so many other people. And he has so much work for me to do. And so I'm grateful for the ministry that he has allowed me to have, not only here in Pine Bluff, but where my two churches are in Hamburg and McGehee. And so I'm grateful for his love that he put inside of me, the unconditional love, to love people. I don't care who you are, good, bad, indifferent. If you're low status, high status. Matter of fact, I don't have no status. It's like I accept people and believe people are awesome just as they are. And I am just to be here to love them and help them and encourage them to be the better versions of themselves that they can be. Oh my goodness.
I love that. Now, I know you're working on a couple of books, but you also have a couple of books. Can you talk a little bit about them? I know the first, Standing Victoriously Over Your Storm, and Love Conquers the Land of Chaos. Now that I know that there's a big story behind those.
Yes. It is such a big story. God woke me up one day and was like, okay, I want you to write a book. I was like, yes, I do. I question God, and I'll be like, what you say? You want me to write what? I don't know if I write no book. And then I just ignored them. I tell the truth and shame the devil. I tell the truth and shame, even on myself. I take my whoopings. But and I went back to sleep, and then he kept waking me up every morning to tell me write the book. And I was like, I don't even know what to write on. And then he was like, yes, you do. And then I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, stand victoriously over your storm, how to overcome your storm, how to recognize your storm, and I was like, you want me to write all those books? And then he was like, the book, and that's the chapters. And so he literally, within like a month, I had a book written. And it a month.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
He gave me the chapters. He gave me what to say. And then when I thought I was done, he was like, you ain't done. You got to get your storm warriors, and the storm warriors in the book are real live people who have been through drug abuse, rape, different things that they have overcome, through faith, faith in their self, faith in their abilities, faith in God, that they can come out of this. And so Standing Victoriously tells us how we are already standing strong because we're still here.
Oh my gosh.
Overcome anything. And so it tells a little bit about my life and the things that I have been through and the storms that I have been through and how I've overcome, and how I sometimes looked at my family and was like, are you for real? Is this really my family? Even though my family was loving and awesome and supportive, but they had their challenges with alcohol and drugs, so but me and my cousins decided that we were going to break that curse, that we were not going to carry on that that legacy. You know, we were going to carry the legacy of love from our family, the legacy of perseverance from our family, the legacy of tenacity and compassion from our family. So those are the things that we decided to carry on. And Love Conquers the Land of Chaos, I never would have thought that was, I was in my Master's of Divinity degree, and we had to write for a class. And they wanted us to write a play, a short story, or whatever. I was like, I don't know none of those things. The guy said, write a short story. And I was like, about what? And again, he said, your life, you know, and what some of your family and friends have been through. So even though it's a fictional book, it's based on things that have actually occurred in my life or with a family member or anything like that. But most of them was with me. The one is about my uncle with the addiction, but how he overcame that. But it just, everything else was about me, self-doubt, doubt from others, how I overcame that, you know, overcoming jealousy and overcoming hurt and pain and suffering, and how love conquered that land of chaos that I was in, you know, and it conquers everything and shifts the atmosphere. And so I was blessed with that being showcased in Frankfurt, Germany. And
that's pretty awesome.
Yes, at the World Book Fair. So that was awesome. And I have been blessed with the opportunity of 100 of my books was sold to the city clerk's office so they can give it to people who are getting married.
Oh,
so,
nice.
So cool to let them know that, you know, no matter what the circumstances is, if you truly love each other, that agape unconditional love, you can overcome anything. So those two books were awesome. And he has me, I still have to finish Linked Up to God or Locked Down to the Devil. Make your choice. Very interesting. And so, and then Extreme Faith, Overcoming Insurmountable Odds. Those are the two books that's in my spirit that he has me working on now, because I am a faith warrior.
Oh my golly, I love that. And I can't believe we're done our first segment right now. And I love that this is just going to be a fabulous, fabulous conversation. We'll be right back. You're listening to CIOE 97.5 FM, and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Now, just before the break, Lanette was talking about her books that she has written and also about the books that are still yet to come. But I wanted to get back into the whole download thing when you were talking about these books and you were ignoring God and you were having almost this battle, right? It was kind of like a fight, like, no, I'm not ready. Yeah. And you got to the point where you didn't have a choice. And then you had these downloads. So talk a little bit about that, because I know some of our audience is going to really resonate with that and understand. But a lot of people are thinking, what the heck is she talking about?
I know, because people are always shocked when I tell them I argue with God. I tell them if he's my father, and if I can't talk to him, who can I talk to? If he's asking me to do something, if I can't talk to him, he already knows what's in my heart. He already knows what I'm thinking. So why am I trying to keep it a secret? Or why am I not trying to talk to him? Why am I not trying to talk to him about it so we can get over it and get past it and move on, and I can do what he tells me to do, because ultimately that's what I'm going to do. And so I did when he was asking me to do something, and even to this day he asked me to. I'm like, me? You want me to do it? And I think that's part of the problem when we do argue with God, is that we can't believe that he's calling on us to do this big thing, right?
Oh my, that's huge.
Yes, we can't believe that he's calling on us to do this big thing, but why not?
Why not you?
Children, right, we are his children, and why wouldn't he call on us to do these things? And if we're created in his image and his likeness, who am I to say that I don't have what it takes to do it when he's telling me to do it? And so, but I did. At that time, I wasn't trying to hear nothing. I was like, I ain't writing no book. I don't know nothing about writing no book. I'm not doing that. And so, and it's so funny because God, he whoops you nicely in a sense. Sometimes, you know, he whoops you nicely. And he kept every day, he would just be like, you need to write this book. You need to write this book. And I was like, oh my goodness, in my dreams, in my visions, he would show me stuff. And I was like, okay, okay, what do you want me to say? And then he was like, okay, standing victoriously over your storm, how to overcome your storm, how to recognize your storm, how to, you want me to literally write all that? And then he was like, no, I want you to talk about each part, because a lot of times people don't realize that in the midst, first of all, they don't learn how to recognize when the storm is coming.
True.
And recognize when the storm is coming, then you know how to prepare yourself. You know what tools to use that's inside your arsenal to fight off this storm that's coming your way. But if you are not able to recognize it, if you are not prepared for it, then you won't know what to do when it hits. And then you will be reactive instead of proactive. And so he wanted me to write that book and talk about it. And so I self-published that book, because I was like, I'm self-publishing that book. But I sold so many of those books on my own through my church and family and friends and Facebook and everything. I just sold a lot of those books. And I was surprised that people loved it. And I said, people are going to look at this book and be like, Lord Jesus, because it's very, it's not a put down, just so you know, because sometimes people think it's a put down, but it's not. I'm such a plain Jane writer. I am a plain Jane person, and not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that's just how I am. I just call it like it is. I just say it is. And so I was like, people probably going to be like, oh Lord, because they probably looking for these big words, these big, whatever. But everybody came to me and was like, I love that story. I love your stories in the book. I love what you said in the book. And it really has helped me to recognize when storms are coming. And the truth of the matter is we have an ebb and flow of life. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And we have to recognize that ebb and flow and know that the storm is not going to last always. And if you prepare yourself for the storm, you can be in the middle of the eye of the storm where there's peace and calm. Even though it's all kind of chaos swirling around you, you can still remain calm because you're in the eye of the storm. God has you in the eye of the storm and you are at peace and it is calm and you're able to rest in God because you have prepared for the storm. You recognize the storm and you know how to fight the storm. And so it's just amazing how God those downloads. And when he gives you those downloads, a lot of times we think sometimes it's just for us, but it's not always just for us. And it may be that he wants you to write a book. It may be that he wants you to write a song. It may be that he wants you to do a poem, but it's not meant for you to keep to yourself. It's meant for you to share. And I believe that if I had not written a book, I still would have been sharing the story of overcoming the storms.
Absolutely.
Of overcoming having tumors 3 times and knowing without a doubt that I was going to come through it 3 times alive.
Wow.
Financial issues, overcoming divorce, overcoming so many obstacles, but still knowing that I have the victory and still believing in myself and still trusting in myself and still knowing that I am valuable.
Sorry to interrupt for a minute, but I want to go back to when you were in those adversities. Did you know at that time, did you feel victimized at all in that time and then have to rediscover and really pull in your faith? Or did you know right away? Or, what was the reflection that was going on at that time? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are in that storm who are thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm sick and I don't know how to recover. I want to recover, but I'm scared. I'm the victim. And how did you, talk a little bit about that?
Okay, I'll talk about my tumors because a lot of people can relate to that. When I first was diagnosed with the tumor, fibroid tumor, I clearly heard God's voice. I clearly heard his voice say, you will not die from this. And so when I was just telling the doctor when we're going to have this surgery, and then when my aunt came into the hospital, because our seasoned folks are concerned about our young folks. I was in my early 20s, and she was like, "Baby, it's going to be all right." And I said, "I know it's going to be all right." And she was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "I know it's going to be all right. God already told me. He said he has too much stuff for me to do for me to be going out right." I knew that because he told me. And so then 2 years later, when I got the tumor again, I remember going to the doctors, and they said, yeah, you got the tumor. And I was like, oh, well, I know what to do. And then it was just a matter of me. Okay, I've been through this before. I know what I need to do to get out of it. I know I got to get up. As soon as I have this surgery, I got to get up and walk so I can get out of this hospital, because I'm not staying in this hospital. And so then it was a matter of me having faith in myself and my abilities to get up and do what I know I needed to do in order to get out of that, because God had already showed me how to get out of it. Now, the third time was a little tough when I started having navel pains in my stomach, and I knew it was already there. And when I went to the doctors, I remember clear as day sitting there, and God said, it's the tumor is back. You know, you're going to have surgery. And I just started dropping a tear. And I was just like, take me out, Lord. I'm just being honest. Again, you will understand. I was like, I'm just tired of this. This is the third time I'm tired of going through this. He said, oh no, dry your tears. Dry your tears. It's going to be all right. But then when so I dried my tears, and then I got back there with the doctor, and then the doctor checked me, and then he said, oh yeah, they're back. And I said, they, because before I had one tumor, the other time I had one tumor, he said, yeah, you got maybe about 4 or 5 tumors inside of you. And let me tell you, when that happened, I was like, oh my God, I just started talking to God. I'm like, God, what in the heck is this? And I told that doctor, I said, I'm ready for my surgery. And I remember him taking me into the room, and he was like, are you sure you want to? We could just remove it. I said, no, I want you to take the whole kit and caboodle. It's the total hysterectomy. I said, if the first doctor would have did that when I asked him, I wouldn't have had this problem the second and third time. I said, but since he didn't, I'm telling you to do it now. And I remember him saying, well, what will your husband want to do? I said, my husband has 3 children. They love me. They call me mama. They hang with me more than they do him. He's all right. He don't need no more children. Okay. Yeah. This is my body, and I am in excruciating pain, and I want this over. And let me tell you, that was the roughest road, because I was emotionally distraught about having to go through that a third time. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't emotionally distraught mostly because of going through it or having to battle that. I was distraught because I was mad at the doctors before, when I kept telling the first doctor and the second doctor to take everything, so I won't have to deal with this. And they didn't listen. And right. So because I was young, didn't think I knew what I wanted, and so I ended up having to have a hysterectomy. And guess what? I have not had near problem since,
Imagine that.
Yeah. And so, and then when it comes to the battle financially, I had so much debt. But let me tell you something. When God called me to go into ministry, I was like, what, do you realize how much debt I got? I mean, even when I was where I was working, I was getting paid pretty well. And I was like, do you know how much debt I got? And you're telling me to quit like now? Can I wait till July? All these bills. And he was like, no, I want you to do it now. And when I did that, let me tell you, I have paid almost every bill. I am down to $3,000 left in debt, besides my car and my house,
Right.
But $3,000, and I will be debt free in the sense of no credit cards, no none of those other bills, just my house and my car. And that is awesome. God brought ways to bless me financially that I never would have thought of coming my way, to be able to pay off things that I never thought I would be able to pay off that quickly, and it's only been 4 years since I have been released from working a full-time job. What I do here now is I'm a floater for transit. I just help out. And the only reason I'm helping out is because my god sister's the director here, and I'm not going to let her need help and not help. So that's why I'm helping now. Not that I need to, but because I desire to help someone do what they need to do.
I love that. Now, we're almost out of time, but I'd like to know from you, where are you going in the future? What do you see for the next, what are your ultimate goals?
Well, this is the thing that's amazing, is that I am where I want to be. God did something different with me, where he placed me where I wanted to be and where he wanted me to be before I had the credentials. Right. So before I was even an itinerant deacon, when I became an itinerant deacon, I was placed in a pastorship. I wasn't even an elder yet.
Okay.
And now that I'm an elder, I'm pastoring 2 churches. Praise the Lord. I pray that come next week, I won't be pastoring 2 churches because it's a lot. I love both churches, and we have done some amazing things, but it's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? So out where I'm going to be assigned by the bishop next, if I'm going to go back to my church or if he's going to send me somewhere else. But I have resided in myself that wherever God sends me is where I'm going to go and where I need to be. And I need to be there for the people that's there, and the people that's there is going to help me and I'm going to help them. I think it's a win-win situation when I go to pastor somewhere, that I'm there not just to feed into the people, but so the people can also feed into me and help me grow. And so I am exactly where I want to be. How far up the ladder? I'm in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. How far up the ladder that he'll take me, I don't know, but I am grateful for whatever level he takes me to. I'm in anticipation of great things, and I am waiting for him to reveal and manifest what that is. And whatever it is, I'm great with it. Because he put me there already. So my doctorate is just the icing on the cake, because he already gave me the blessing of having what I want to do. And I didn't have to get my doctorate, because in the A.M.E. church, all you have to have is your seminary degree. But when I finished my seminary degree, I was like, yes, I'm done. And he was like, no, you're not. You have to
Oh my golly, I absolutely love this conversation. We're out of time for today, but I'd love to keep you on the line and do a quick bonus section. You're listening to CIOE 97.5 FM, and remember to go out and do something that makes you sparkle today and every single day. We'll see you soon, friends. And remember, tune in for the bonus segment online. Bye for now, friends. Welcome to the bonus segment. And we've been having a great conversation. And I said, I just have to press record because this is really important stuff that I think that people, really need to hear. And we were talking about recovery, and you were talking about how some people in your family had to recover. And sometimes people go through phases where they don't feel that they're valuable, that they don't feel that they're worth anything. So I'll send it back to you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, my family, like I said, I used to talk to God all the time and be like, is this really my family? Because I'm totally different than they are, and not so much because they were so loving and everything, but they were overcoming, alcoholism, drug addiction, and so today, now my goal is always to make sure that people that's trying to recover from addiction know that, one, they can do it, that they are overcomers, that they can do this thing, they can beat this thing, and 2, that they have support out there. So I have dedicated, part of my mission is to help Covenant Recovery, which is here in Pine Bluff. I support those men that's there, and I try my best to put a smile on their face and let them know that they are loved and not forgotten about, and that they are valuable, and they are needed, and they have something that they can add to society. And so I bless them with love bags and stuff like that all during the course of the year. I'm gearing up for Thanksgiving now.
Oh, nice.
That, and among other people that I'm helping, like right now I'm doing a kidney center. I'm going to give them love bags, and so that's 173 people that our ministry will be blessing with love bags.
Now, what's in a love bag?
Okay,
it has such a good energy, and I mean, you're bringing the love everywhere you go. I mean, your energy is palpable. I mean, for people who listen on the radio, they're going to hear your energy, and the podcast. But when people see you on YouTube, they're going to say, oh my golly, you can see you're just exuding positive energy.
I love it because that's my best. That is my life. Like if I had $1 million, I could do that all day long. I am a philanthropist at heart. I am a giver at heart. And I love putting a smile on people's faces. So the love bags it could be different depending on what God tells me, really. But because we're in a pandemic right now, what's in the love bag is hand soap, hand lotion, sanitizer, and like for the Casa Women's Shelter, who deals with domestic violence women, I put in there a towel that has beautiful written on it to let them They are beautifully and wonderfully made. And so now with the kidney center, I'm going to do the same items, but I'm going to put something else in there. I have not really, I let God direct me on what else to put in there with the love in the love bag. But I know that I'll have a cross on the bag with a scripture saying on it, and then whatever else I can, put in there. And so sometimes, and then like the covenant recovery men, because they don't have hygienical products and things like that, they I give them the full set, the shaving foam, the cleansing for the face, the hydrator for their face. I give them eye cream for their face. I give them aftershave gel. And then I decorate their bag too with a little extra stuff, and so it just depends on what God tells me to give them, I'll bless them. That's just the Boys and Girls Club. We do all different kinds of things for Boys and Girls Club. So it's just things that I love to do. I love when God tells me to give somebody something, it's back. Like,
bring the joy.
Yes.
And help people to know that they matter. I think that, when people go through things, sometimes it's easy to get in that rut. It's easy to feel stuck. It's easy to feel, you're self-deprecating all the time. And you're thinking, what's the point? There's no value. What am I here for? But there is value, and we all are worthy, and we all matter. If you could say something to somebody who's struggling right now with that, and with their self-worth, what would you say to them?
I would say what I said yesterday in my Healing Love class on how to increase your faith. I would say to them, find the mirror, look in the mirror, and look at yourself. Look at every nook and cranny, look at every wrinkle, look at every pimple, every dimple, everything from short hair to long hair. Look at yourself and love yourself, and realize that you are important, and that you are wonderfully and beautifully made, that you are created in the image and the likeness of God, and that He loves you. Whether you believe in Him or not, He believes in you. And because He believes in you, so do I. So I just want to encourage each and every last one of you to have faith in yourself, have faith in your abilities, and know that what you're going through, as I heard a preacher say, what you're going through is only but a technicality and not God's reality for your life. He has so much better for you. So don't give up. Don't give in. The only way you can fail is if you quit. But if you hold on tight and persevere, you will either go around the mountain, you will go under the mountain, you may even have to go up the rough side of the mountain. But sometimes you just might have to put up your dukes and bulldoze your way through that mountain. And I just want you to know that when you get over, through, or around that mountain, you will realize just how valuable you are and just how strong you are. We sometimes don't know it, but there is strength inside of you. You say, how do I know? I know because you're still here.
Oh, that's perfect.
So with that, that's what I would say to them. I would just encourage them to keep fighting, keep believing in themselves, because I believe in them. And so many others. So, and that's the hardest part. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. Everybody else can see the potential and see the greatness that's lying inside of us, and we don't see it. Or sometimes we see it and we're afraid of it.
That's another very important point. Important point. I remember, I think it was Les Brown who said, if you fall 7 times, fall forward, or get up 8. And, just instead don't fall back, fall forward, because you're always going to get up, and you're going to be ahead. Yeah. On that note, I want to thank you so much for being here. It's been a real pleasure and my honor to serve you. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with? And I want to ask you also, what makes you sparkle? You've done a pretty good job saying that.
What makes me sparkle? All of you. That's what makes me sparkle. Just thinking about how I can serve you, how I can help you be better. That is what makes me better. Helping other people be better. So that's what makes me sparkle. And what I would just like to say before I leave is that I love you from my heart to yours. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, that is beautiful. I love you too. And thank you so much for being here. I look forward to continuing our friendship and having some more great communications. Thank you so much for being here. You're listening to Find Your Sparkle with Jen, and we will catch you next time, friends. Have a fabulous day.